OK, breaking news this hour. US President Donald Trump has just posted on Truth Social. Iran, which is being beat to hell, has apologised and surrendered to its Middle East neighbours and promised that it will not shoot at them anymore. Trump also warned that Iran could be hit very hard and suggested additional targets could now be under consideration. This comes as the government are considering charter flights to help British nationals return from the Middle East, as 9,000 Brits have returned so far. And some latest news to bring you. The HMS Prince of Wales has been placed on a 5 days notice. And as always with all of this, the wonderful Charlie Peters is here to bring us up to speed. Charlie, many lines to discuss. So where do you want to start? So many breaking news lines.
Well, let's start with this aircraft carrier, the HMS Prince of Wales, one of just two in its class. They are the most significant naval assets that Britain can boast. It returned late last year from the Operation High Mast deployment, which was towards the Mediterranean and Indo-Pacific. It's coming out towards the end of its maintenance period, so the teams on board, the sailors, would have also just been finishing up their leave after that operation. We're being told by naval sources, backing up reporting by the Navy Lookout website, highly reliable platform, they're saying that HMS Prince of Wales has had its readiness period reduced from 14 to just 5 days. And that means it could be deployed towards the Eastern Mediterranean, towards the Middle East, to support British personnel and indeed our allies in the region, allies who have been very critical about our insufficient, in their perspective, defence, deployment and posture in the region. I have some more breaking news to bring you, this exclusive to GB News. We've been told by our naval sources that there have been some claims, you might have seen, Dawn, in the last couple of days, that the Portsmouth dockyard has had reduced working hours due to some union rules, that it's only working 9 to 5. Now, I'm being assured by very senior naval sources that's not the case, that in fact both sailors, engineers and also civilian and military contractors are working round the clock to get HMS Dragon out into the sea. I'm also told that morale on HMS Dragon is high, and I can very much believe that. I was on HMS Duncan last year, Type 45 destroyer, same class as Dragon, in Portsmouth. I met with some of the sailors who had just returned from the Eastern Mediterranean. They were meant to go forward to the Red Sea to shoot down those Houthi drones that were threatening the shipping platforms there. They told me they had been gutted to be brought back from that they were, one weapons officer told me, warfare officer rather, he said that he was itching for a scrap. That's why they joined the Royal Navy. And now that their friends, allies and colleagues, brothers and sisters in arms in Cyprus and beyond, are under threat, they want to be in the fight as well. That's what naval sources are telling us today. So HMS Prince of Wales being stood up. It's already got ammunition on board, we understand. So it won't need to go through the lengthy process that HMS Dragon is currently going through in the Upper Harbour Ammunition Facility in Portsmouth. So Prince of Wales also in Portsmouth, being prepared potentially for that deployment. The notice to move reduced from 14 to 5 days, and GB News can reveal that, contrary to recent claims, Portsmouth Dockyard is working round the clock. One naval source told me that people on the dockyard are moving heaven and earth to ensure that that destroyer gets out into the sea.
That's good news, because it's slightly worrying that they're working 9 till 5. So with the HMS Prince of Wales, it could be sailing in 5 days. How long will it take to get out there? Well,
it is a bit slower than a destroyer, and there are also other concerns. It could be another week until it gets out there as well. But there'd also be further concerns beyond that, Dawn, because it's very rare for an aircraft carrier not to move without a full complement of escorting ships. That would mean destroyers and frigates and also submarines, so that it can respond to the full spectrum of naval and maritime threats that could face an aircraft carrier. They are tremendous platforms of expressing your threat and launching assets, but also being such large platforms, they're big targets too.
Exactly.
And if HMS Dragon's being sent out ahead of time to get there as soon as possible, do we have another destroyer to support HMS Prince of Wales? Probably not. HMS Duncan is currently going through some additional emergency maintenance work. We have seen when Operation High Mast was underway last year, when it returned from that deployment in December, HMS Prince of Wales was supported by destroyers and frigates from other navies. We have a very close working relationship with Dutch, with Norwegian and some of the Baltic nations as well. There's a realistic possibility we could see the Navy saying, look, we're spread out too thin across so many deployments around the world. We now need to rely on our allies, not only to be in Cyprus for us ahead of time, but also to support the deployment of these assets. We've got 2 aircraft carriers. We've only got 2 deployable destroyers. They'll need plenty more support if the ship is going to get on the move. But we're hearing from our naval sources, 5 days.
But we're relying on our allies that have been angry with us for not stepping up to the plate before now. Indeed. Charlie Peters, thank you very much for now. And Charlie will be joining us throughout the day to bring us up to speed on any of those breaking stories for us.
Hello, I'm Bev Turner. Now, it can feel like the money in our bank accounts at the moment does not keep up with the cost of living. And maybe there's a solution. I'm here today with the CEO of TallyMoney, Cameron Parry. Cameron, what is TallyMoney?
Well, Bev, with TallyMoney, you get a current account and a debit card, but instead of pounds, you use milligrams of gold as your everyday money.
So why gold?
Gold traditionally is a great store of value. It has, on average, gone up at over 11% per annum for the last 25 years against the pound. It's tripled in value in the last decade. And in the last 2 years alone, it's increased by 50% against the pound. Banks' savings products just can't compete with that level of growth.
But this isn't just about gold. This is about a currency that you guys have created at TallyMoney. Explain it to me as though I'm an idiot.
So, look, people need to be able to hold their earnings and build their savings in a money that retains its value and remains in their legal control and remains theirs to access, away from government control.
Great. You had me at not exposed to government control.
You should feel safe and happy with your money. You should have peace of mind. The more money you see in your bank balance, and that's the type of thing we're trying to deliver, and give people choice in the type of money they get to use every day.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Cameron. Thank you.
OK, joining me now is Labour MP for Halesowen, Alex Ballinger. Alex, huge breaking news story again today. What do you make of the latest developments we are hearing from the Middle East?
Well, it is. Which of those breaking stories are you talking about, Dawn? There's been several.
There are quite a few. If you've just been heard from Charlie Peters, we have finally got our HMS Prince of Wales heading out to the Gulf. But I mean, it's like 3 weeks after maybe we should have mobilised. Allies are angry with us. Keir Starmer doesn't seem to know which way to jump still. He does seem to be in hock to his backbenchers still. And we are considered to be a bit of a laughing stock. We've lost our reputation around the world. You pick where you want to start with that lot. Up to you.
Okay. Thank you, Dawn. So I will disagree with most of those facts. You'll be unsurprised to hear I'm one of 15 former military Labour MPs. We have a lot of experience working in the region. I served in Afghanistan. Many of my colleagues served in the Iraq War last time. I think the calm and reasoned and sensible approach the Prime Minister is taking is exactly the right approach in this particular situation. And I am very concerned about the politicking that we're seeing from the Conservative Party. So Kemi Badenoch, just earlier on your programme, trying to score political points off the back of what is a national security crisis, should be getting together, coming around and taking this seriously in the way that the Labour government is doing. And I think there are people in her party, as well as others, who are particularly concerned about the way she's approaching it. And talking about military personnel and military veterans, the way that she said the RAF was just hanging around yesterday when they've been flying over Cyprus, over the Gulf, protecting our citizens, protecting our bases, is embarrassing, and she should apologise for that. OK, but I mean, the British Army were first attacked a week ago today in Bahrain. We know that some British serving personnel came quite close to losing their lives, or at least being severely injured. It did take until Sunday evening before Keir Starmer did an about turn, if you like, on the use of British bases for defensive purposes. Why did it take our Prime Minister so long to come to the conclusion that we needed to step up to the plate and defend our serving personnel out in the Gulf? It's not like, Dawn, that we're not doing anything.
I didn't say we weren't doing anything. That wasn't the question.
For a long time.
Why did it take Keir Starmer? Sorry to interrupt, but why did it take Keir Starmer from Saturday morning, when we knew British personnel had come close to being injured at best in Bahrain, until Sunday night to make a decision to let America use RAF bases? Why did it take so long?
So we've deployed defensive assets to the region ahead of the conflict, identifying it. That included F-35s, ground-based air defence, radars, on top of the existing stuff there. We were already flying assets at that time, shooting down drones, protecting our citizens. And then when the request came from the Americans to use the bases to go after the launches, we acceded to that request. We accepted it. So I reject the claim that we're not doing anything. And I
didn't
think
say we weren't doing anything.
Region, would reject that as well.
I said I didn't say we weren't doing anything. I'm saying that our Prime Minister has dithered over making decisions at such an important time.
I don't think he's dithered at all. I think the Prime Minister was looking at the attacks on Iran, was looking at the legality of them, looking at the lack of a plan that the Americans and the Israelis have. And you've heard over the last few days 5 or 6 different possible outcomes. I think he's looking at what lessons we've learned from the situation in Iraq and the calamity that we saw there, and thought quite wisely, we don't need to get more embroiled in this than we need to. We should absolutely look after our national security. We should be looking to protect our citizens and protect our bases, but we shouldn't be getting involved in attacking the Iranians, because this war is quite unwise. And he's taken the correct defensive positions on sending out extra troops to the region, including those Eurofighter Typhoons and F-35s and Wildcat helicopters more recently, and the deployments he took before that. So I do reject that he has dithered in any way. He's done exactly what I would expect him to do as a former military person, and what many other people, many other military experts would expect him to do. It's the right, sensible course of action that is in the UK's national interest.
OK, and what would you say to the accusation of many of our allies, not just in the Gulf states, but around Europe, even the German Prime Minister, who has spoken quite strongly about this issue, that we have become a bit of an embarrassment on the world stage and we are letting our allies down? What would you say to them?
I don't think the German Prime Minister has said that. But I do understand that they're concerned that the Iranians have been lashing out and attacking targets all across the region. I did say we've released a lot of assets. We haven't straight away released our Navy, and that is unfortunately because there has been shameful underinvestment in the Navy over the last 14 years. And we're down to only 13 frigates and destroyers. Most of them were in the dock being repaired. After that underinvestment led our Royal Navy to be the smallest size since the English Civil War. The Labour government is doing what it can to rebuild. We are increasing defence spending to 2.6%, which is the largest increase in defence spending since the end of the Cold War. We're recruiting more troops than we used to, but these things don't happen overnight. Unfortunately, it takes a number of years to redevelop the capability of an armed forces after so many years of underinvestment.
Yeah, no, Alex,
that's why, on our naval perspective, things have been a bit slower than we would have liked.
Yeah, but, Alex, of course, no one is denying that the Conservative Party didn't spend money wisely in defence. But, I mean, you know, Rachel Reeves, in her spring statement, didn't say anything about spending any more money on defence. And Keir Starmer himself said it could take another, 10 years? I mean, how are we going to get the money? How are we going to afford it? And surely we need to stop spending on the ballooning welfare bill and start spending on defence. When's that going to happen?
So the Labour Party is prioritising defence spending. We have a target to hit 2.6% of GDP by next year. The Conservatives never reached that. They never reached 2.5%. In fact, the last time any government reached that was the Labour government in 2010. And that was all in the autumn budget plans that Rachel Reeves announced last year. The spring statement, as you know, didn't include any additional spending plans. It was more of an economic update. And we have committed, and we continue to commit to reaching 3% of GDP in the next Parliament, as agreed with other NATO countries after Donald Trump's request. So those plans are there. The defence spending is increasing. We're seeing morale increasing in the armed forces. We've put pay up. We're investing in defence housing as well as equipment. More people are being recruited to the military because of it. It's actually up 20% recruitment in the last year. And for the first time, we're turning around a declining number of service people in our armed forces to an increasing one. I think those are all the right decisions, and I am embarrassed that the Conservative government is criticising us and criticising our armed forces for their condition at the moment.
OK, Alex, thank you very much for putting up a spirited defence of your leader there. That is Labour MP for Helzowen, Alex Ballinger. Thank you very much for joining us there. As always, let me know what you think about that one. Joining me now is Iranian dissident Nayak Gurbani. Nayak, thank you so much for joining me. Really good to see you. Now, you're here to talk about the situation, obviously, in Iran, but more importantly, today in particular, I'm looking forward to next weekend, what's going on in the streets of London at the moment. We have protest march, pro the regime and counter-protest marches. Tell us more.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't hear what actually the Alex said.
You would have been quite angry, I think, to be honest with you.
We are not asking Labour government, they are in love with the Islamic Republic. They showed that before. And we don't actually asking them to, send the army there and take action. But serious actually question is, when they want to take action against the Islamic Republic here on the soil of Britain, and when they want to, caring about the British citizens here in UK, they are, freely coming in the street, acting like terrorists. Last night, front of Israeli embassy, they attacking the lady, four actually Iranian Islamic Republic supporters. They attacking lady and destroy her phone. But the police didn't take any action. They wasn't actually present in the street. But we have to actually warn Labour government. We did. Since actually October 7, every week they are coming in the street chanting Intifada. What's that mean? Means right now they are, acting like Islamic Republic in the street here in London. That's why, the Labour government embarrassing the British citizen, in my view, and embarrassing themselves in the international view also.
Do you think that people should be allowed in support of the Iranian regime on the streets of London, given that we have seen 20, thankfully, thwarted terror attacks in the last 3 years organised by the Iranian regime? Do you think people that want death to the West, death to the United Kingdom, should be allowed to be on our streets?
As you say, they actually asking to death to actually British people, death to actually British, actually death to UK. Why we have to allow them? When they are against us, against UK, against the British citizen, why we have to allow them? Why we have to let them, in the name of democracy, in the name of freedom, let them, it's like give them actually gun and tell them you are free to shoot us. Why? Why you have to actually let the people using your freedom against you?
Now, there are some people on the streets today marching to sort of stop the war coalition, not supporting the regime, but stopping the war. Now, what would you, as an Iranian, say to those people that think America and Israel should not be bombing Iran?
So, let me... To be honest, the guy, actually, the father of one guy who get killed in Iran, his name is Mohammad Reza Qasemzadeh, yesterday called to actually Iranian TV, Manoto, actually. He asked why doesn't actually promote my son's name, why anyone didn't mention his name. And his mother actually come through and asking, she said, we are not happy, even Ayatollahs get killed, even all the, the leader of the Islamic Republic get killed. We are waiting for Crown Prince announcing, and we're going and take our country back. This is serious message to the Western country. We are supporting what actually Israel and US done to Islamic Republic. We don't, 48 years, we're fighting against Islamic Republic with empty hands. They're killing us. They killed more than 80,000 people just 60 days ago. Nobody coming in the street and asking to stop the, killing the Iranian people. Their actually issue right now is just Israel. just US. They don't care about the humanity. They don't care about our people life. They just hate the Israel and the Western government, Western countries around the world. So you let them come in the street in the freedom, and then they will the next. After the Islamic Republic, when they are not, anymore able to protest against Israel, they will come for you here in the UK.
I think they've already tried, haven't they? Niak, thank you so much for talking to us. Niak Gorbani, the Iranian dissident. Thank you very much for joining us, and good luck on the street. Oh, you're going to the protest, aren't you, I believe?
Yes, after here, straight away.
OK, thank you very much. OK.